Hi, and welcome to our latest podcast where we're talking about Rumble Mode and the Dominion Tower. I'm Mod Mahi, the podcast monkey, and with me I have...
Mod Wilson.
Mod Wilson. So, tell me about Rumble Mode.
Well, Rumble Mode's a new way that you can play the Dominion Tower that we've launched recently.
Right.
It's a multiplayer mode, although you can still solo it if you want. You go up to the top of the tower, you and up to 5 of your friends can fight a continuous wave of your bosses that you've unlocked for the Dominion Tower in general, and they'll just basically keep coming until you're dead. And
wave after wave after wave.
Wave after wave after wave. If you've got 4 to 5 players in there, there'll be up to 10 at a time. So, like, they spawn when you walk in, and then every 30 seconds or so after that, you get another one until you've hit the cap. And the second one dies, a new one appears. So, you could put one of them down, and then instantly a new boss is just attacking you right off the bat.
Right, okay. So it's a really roughy-tufty fight. Mm-hmm. It's meant to be really challenging, or?
It's not meant to be, like, immensely challenging. Obviously it's a challenge.
Yeah.
It's not meant to be, like, immensely, you've got to have the top-level equipment. Obviously, if you've beaten any of these bosses, you need to have beaten them in order for them to appear in the tower.
Right, okay.
So you've beaten them at least once, so you've at least got the skills and the equipment to do it again. So, if you take your top-level gear up there, then you should be able to keep fighting.
Okay. So what bosses are in there, then?
There's...
too long a list to mention, clearly.
We've got somewhere in the region of 60 bosses.
Right, okay.
With the updates, it's 60 bosses, and it's from all over the place, all levels of skill. You've got, Melzar the Mad down at the very lowest level, and then you've got, like, the Chaos Dwarves up near the top. Nomad, of course.
Right, okay. What new ones did we add?
New ones, well, there's the Chaos Dwarves, there's the Echo of Jazz, Yelps and Lol. Apep and Heru, Vanstrom as well.
Right.
In both his, like, human and vampire form. He doesn't do the mist form at the end, because that would obviously be just crazy in, like, even in the big multiplayer thing of trying to keep track of the mist.
So they're adapted slightly for the Rumble where need be, then?
Yes, yeah. Well, there's a mechanic that we can't really replicate in either a multiplayer area or a multi-NPC area. We removed it or toned it down, but we did increase their stats or just general survivability, so it would work. Off the top of my head, for instance, the Echo of Jazz summoned in the false users, but we couldn't do that because even though they're not, you can turn around and hit them and they've only got 1 hit point and they die very easily.
Yeah.
You might not be able to see them under the press of other bosses and other players.
Right, okay, because of all the other things in the area, right? Okay.
Exactly, and even if we say, for instance, put them on top, Yelps in the main boss fight summoned in his bodyguards. So are they on top so you can see them to kill them? It's a lot easier to just put them in there in ways that you can just beat them. There's like Chronozon as well, Delrith. These guys who you normally need specialist equipment to kill. Yeah, we just removed that just because there's no guarantee you'll have it, and there's no guarantee you'll have any left over after like 20, 30 rounds of this.
No, very true. So I also hear tell of orbs.
Yes, the power-up orbs will pop up occasionally. There's the Vigorous Orb, which will give you adrenaline, or if you're in Legacy mode, that will give you special attack energy. So it's there was apparently some confusion on the forums about that. It was always giving you 100% adrenaline, and if you're in Legacy mode, it was giving you 100% special attack energy. Right. But the check to see whether or not you were in Legacy for giving you the message saying you've gained special attack energy wasn't going off. So it was just saying you've gained adrenaline, whichever mode you were in. So yes, you are gaining special attack energy if you're in Legacy mode. Right, so our Legacy players will love that then. Yep. Brilliant. Well, hopefully. And what other orbs are there? There's the Volatile Orb, which can give you either buffs or debuffs. It's generally ones from the list of buffs and debuffs you can get from the tower that would work in the area. So, like, you can't use ultimates, but it's not a permanent. You can't use ultimates. It's only for 30 seconds. That kind of thing. Right, okay. Cool. And what rewards have we lined up as part of the rework, the changes we've made? Well, the Rumble-specific rewards, there's the new tier of the Amulet when you kill 1,800 bosses. that it's got more teleport to the tower, it gives you higher stats when you're in the tower, it's got a universal accuracy buff for all combat styles in and out of the tower, and the rest of it is all sort of like the reworks of the main rewards. So we've got the markers.
Yeah.
They have had their buffs and boosts brought up in line with what we consider standard for the game now.
Right.
The books have also been given a rework on the amount of XP they give. And obviously from Rumble mode, you go in there, you're killing bosses over and over and over again. You're getting quite a lot of Dominion factor as a result.
Okay.
Dreadnips, I believe there is a question about that later.
Dreadnips
Do you want to do that now, or shall we?
Yeah, let's do that now, yeah.
Okay, so...
Well, the question specifically I have about Dreadnips is, do the Rumble mode kills contribute to unlocking the gloves or Dreadnips?
No, they don't, because basically you can rack up like a really impressive kill score in that area in significantly less time than it would take to kill the bosses, even if you turned taunts and victory cutscenes off.
Right, okay.
So it's basically, you would be able to storm through those the achievements for kill count ridiculously quickly.
Right.
Especially with a good competent group of players, you'd just be able to blitz straight through it.
So it's a balancing issue.
Yes.
If we didn't do that, if we didn't stop it counting, it would just allow somebody to storm straight through.
Yes, I mean there was discussion about this. You know, people have asked about this upstairs. You know, there were various things that we thought we might do, which we may do either as like a follow-up update to this or a future update. So maybe things like the top level, like anything in Class A, might count towards your kills because they're generally big, tough, strong bosses. Those are, you know, that's like Nomad, that's all those kind of things. But then again, you know, if they pop up, everyone within the Rumble could just immediately concentrate on them, wipe them, way easier than if you were fighting them one-on-one in with all of their mechanics.
Okay. Can you solo Rumble for the Dominion Tower title?
No, you can't. Because we wanted it to be 4 or 5 man Rumbles. You've got to have it before it'll appear in, because that's, you know, that way you are fighting at the 45-minute mark. You'll have been fighting 10 bosses for pretty much the vast majority of that time. In solo mode, at 45 minutes, you'll have been facing at most 4 bosses at any time. So it's just not.
It's not equivalent.
Yeah, exactly. You know, we just and even then at 2 or 3 players, it's not as great as going. Okay, I survived for 45 minutes against 10 bosses. Yeah. So the title is that kind of maxed out level, the maximum chaos you can keep going. Exactly, and even with a good team, 45 minutes is going to be starting to push it.
Okay. Is it possible to keepsake the Dominion medallion?
Not at the moment, I believe, but it could be added. But obviously, it then wouldn't count for Dominion Tower things.
Yes.
You wouldn't be able to access it for teleports. It wouldn't count as being on you for the purposes of. I just did air quotes there, everyone. It would be on you for the purposes of.
I can confirm, Mod Wilson did in fact do air quotes on the sofa.
Yes. For those watching at home. It wouldn't be on you for the purposes of giving you the buffs or the accuracy or these kind of things. So we might do it, but bear in mind you'll lose those things.
Okay. Have the new bosses changed the achievements in any way for the Dominion Tower?
No.
No, they're all as were the new bosses added as extras rather than as.
So basically, killing X number of bosses, if we haven't increased the number of bosses you need to kill through climber or endurance or any of these kind of things, and killing LOL or Yelps or the Chaos Dwarves will count towards that.
Right. Okay.
Still, so it's the same. You've just got more bosses that will turn up for you to be able to fight.
And how does Iron Man work with Rumble mode?
Well, currently it doesn't at all, but we are putting in a fix. I'm not sure when that's going out. It's basically been put in. It's under testing right now, which means that you will be able to start a one-man Rumble. Because when you go in, it says how many players do you want to put in. Yeah. And obviously Iron Man could go, well, I want 5 people, and then technically they would be getting that help. So now it just goes, if you're in Iron Man, the maximum number of people you can put in here is 1.
Right, so we're going to add, we are adding in a solo Rumble feature for Iron Man.
Yes.
So they can get their boss fight on.
Yes, so they'll be able to do the kills one, but obviously they'll, as per the previous question, they won't be able to do the title.
Brilliant. Okay. Why was it we decided to make these changes to Dominion Tower?
What, like the Iron Man changes, or just the
changes overall? Why do we?
Well, it's. I mean, I actually thought it had been around for a lot longer. It's sort of like it's one of those things that is kind of iconic these days.
Yeah.
I mean, it's. But I did think it had been around for longer than it has. It's 2011.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, it's been around for a while, and we've released a whole load of quests with a lot of bosses that people either thought were. I'm not going to use the word iconic again because we put, but we've released a lot of quests which have had bosses which are interesting, have interesting mechanics that players wanted to fight again, and this is a place that they can go and do it for effectively XP and rewards.
So it felt like an appropriate place and time to refresh it.
Exactly. Yes.
Brilliant. Okay. Were there any things when you were working on it that you couldn't include that you would have liked to have?
Well, obviously there was a lot of people going, here are bosses from all over the place.
Right, yeah.
And with the limited time that we had at that point, we initially there were the 6 were done when it was part of the Ninja project on expansion 1.
Okay.
We actually picked only 5 and we're kind of aiming for a 6 hopefully, from the second expansion. But obviously there were a lot of other bosses. I mean, people were asking for like some of the other fights from the bosses from Purple Rose, the 4 things that...
Right, yeah.
They're asking for those. They're asking for... Basically, players have like a lot of opinion for what they would like to see in. And yes, we did sit down, we argued a lot, and we were like, okay, who should we put in? Who has the mechanics that can be put in? Not just for Rumble mode, but also for the Dominion Tower. Yeah, because obviously not everyone can fight. Not everyone will fit in either a big open arena with just pillars, or even like small pillars. Yeah, and they might not work. It might take a lot of reworking in order to get them to work even within their own. Yeah, because specialised mechanics.
Some bosses are quite environment based, aren't they?
Yes.
Yeah. Like, and obviously in the Dominion Tower, you're limited in the environment you can present.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. And what was your favourite inclusion?
For sheer insanity, Yelps was actually the most fun.
Right.
I mean, basically, the first version of Rumble mode didn't actually have checks to prevent it from having more than one boss spawn at a time, because it had been started, but it hadn't been completely finished by the time we handed it over. Yeah. So Yelps came in, and we'd redone him so that, as players have found out, that he'll track you around the arena, because obviously his other teleport was based on having like a very small area. Yeah. So you could just teleport to within a very small thing, and you could avoid him. So now he tracks you. And we were doing the first versions of Rumble mode playtesting to see what state it was in, and like 2 or 3 Yelps would appear and just be spinning around and following 1 or 2 people just up and down the arena. Everyone was running as fast as they could. People were basically targeting Yelps over like Nomad and various other guys. Even up until release, we were sort of like, oh god, there's Yelps, and just piling on him.
But just because, otherwise it gets a bit crazy.
I mean, he's got his like big AoE and the rest of it, and Delrith actually didn't have his AoE initially, and we put it in for one of the last couple of rounds, and I knew it was in because I'd obviously done the update, but a couple of the QA people who had joined us on that one didn't know, so they ran over and were hitting him, and suddenly boom, his huge health point stripping attack went off, and obviously there were other bosses attacking him, so they died pretty quickly then.
Well, the feedback's been really good on the forum. Thanks for coming in, Mod Wilson.
No problem.
And hope to talk to you again soon.
No worries.
Thanks very much. Bye-bye.
Bye.